This is Spanish cedar. I also have some maple and some walnut. And I've got a cigar. So what do Spanish cedar, walnut, maple, and a cigar have in common? Before I forget, and I trash the cigar any more than it needs to be, if you get a chance, subscribe, give a comment, give a like, and watch our videos. Now when I have a project, I like to stare at it and figure out what parts are going to go where, and I go ahead and cut them all to dimension. This was rough stock, so I had to square it up, and then I had to rip it to size. I'm going to resaw my walnut, so I use my calipers to set it to just above a ½ inch so I have a little room for sanding. Then I resawed another piece, equal thicknesses, and I'm going to use this as a book match pair to make my top. I did 2 sets, that way I could choose which one I like better to make the top. And thank goodness for this sander. And I just glued both the panels together. And then when it was dry, squared it up on the table saw. I used this mock-up to decide where I wanted it to be on the panel to get the best grain and the best look. Now on the CNC, we're doing the engraving where the maple inlay is going to go. Followed by an engraving of the lake. Now to do the maple inlay, we just cut the same pattern, we just cut on the other side of the line. And there's our inlay. Use sandpaper to create a bevel so that the piece would fit in the inlay. And other times I used a razor knife just to kind of trim it out a little bit till I finally got it to fit. The issue with the CNC is where you have a square edge, your router bit doesn't cut a square corner, so it needs a little chisel work. But that did become problematic because it would split every once in a while, but it actually helped me out and I could just sand it a lot easier when it was all broke apart. All in all the pieces fit really well, and I got a good tight fit, a good look that I wanted. The inlay was thick enough that I was able to go ahead and power sand it with my orbital sander. And then time for a little resin. I used the top to set my stop blocks to cut the sides exactly to the same length. And my Leigh dovetail jig that I never use, I marked the tops of all the sides, made sure that I fit it into the jig the same way each time. What's nice about this Leigh dovetail jig is the pattern on the top. When you're done cutting the tails, you just simply flip it over and cut the pins, and they're exactly in the same spot. The Leigh dovetail jig allows you to make any kind of configuration and sizes that you want for all your dovetails. It makes a good tight fit. Put a dado on the bottom to take the bottom. Use some stop blocks to keep the dados from going all the way through where I wanted them blind. Assembling regular drawers is hard enough as it is, but when you use dovetails, it's even a little more difficult, so you need everything to go pretty smooth. I have this piece so I could clamp it to keep the box square. This is what you get for a tight fit. So I learned my lesson. I put screws in it this time. And always sanding. Cut a rabbet on all four sides of the lid so it'd fit down on top and I could glue it and make it all one piece. Now if there is a next time on a humidor, I'm going to use a call system rather than 8 zillion clamps. Roundover or V-groove chamfer? Roundover, I say. Did some resaw on some old cedar that I had was too thick, and then cut my top and bottom. Left them a little loose for expansion and glued them in place. Side pieces weren't completely tight, but we put a nice little bevel here so the lid would close. Check for fit. But what's nice about cedar is it's soft and you can sand it and it adjusts real easily. Used a small piece of sandpaper and a block to create my roundover where the lid came together. I bought some conversion varnish a while ago. It's a 2-part with a catalyst and it's supposed to give a real nice clean finish. and it's water-based. The cedar gets masked, so it gets no finish on it whatsoever. So I forgot to show you how I made this little piece, but I put this little cedar shelf in there for a little bit of extra storage. All finished up and looking for a home. I like the book-matched top, the dovetails, the continuity of the grain on the sides. I might keep this. Man, that smells good. Now all I have to do is fill it up. Good, solid, tight fit. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you get a chance, hit the subscribe icon and watch those videos, and we will see you on our next episode.